Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says that the defendant ruined her wig by putting some kind of a chemical on it, which is a big no-no. The defendant says she didn't use any kind of chemical whatsoever. She did an excellent job and ain't refunding a cent. Let's go back into the courtroom.
I feel like I wouldn't have wasted my time. Like, if you look up a Water Wave 30-inch wig, that's very expensive. Why would you...
I don't know how expensive it is because your evidence is all over the map and non-existent. You don't have the receipt. What you gave us was a $258 wig, and you're asking for $350. Did you agree that you did put oil into it, right, Ms. Diamond?
Yes.
And her complaint is that the oil didn't dry up or go away or get soaked in or get absorbed or anything else. It just stayed oily. And what's your answer to that?
Honestly, when she came back for the second day, I was willing to wash the wig out. The shampoo I use is a clarifying shampoo. It strips the hair of completely everything. So when I came back in the living room and showed her the wig, she was rubbing her hands through it, saying that she still didn't like the texture and she didn't even want to install it back in her head. So me not washing out the product is not true. I washed out all the product and I showed her the wig after.
Do you have a picture? Did you take a picture of the wig before you gave it back to her? Ms. Diamond?
I didn't.
Do you have what did you do with the wig, Ms. Cooley?
It's gone. I threw it out.
You threw it out. All right. Did you take a picture of it before you threw it out?
No, because after she washed it, when I got home to get the new hair, I just threw it out.
Why did you throw it out, though? If you're going to file a lawsuit over it, you didn't think maybe the judge would want to see it?
Because I didn't know, because I thought she was going to give me a new wig. That's why. And my point is, why would you give somebody a 30-inch free wig for free if you did not do anything to their wig?
Well, there are reasons why. Somebody might want to have their hashtag on your Instagram account. There are customer service reasons why. Based on what I'm hearing, I believe that something more than an install was done to the wig. Because you're telling me yourself that you put product and oils and whatever else. But this proof of $350 for the wig, you're way off on that. You don't have anything remotely approaching proof that it's worth $350. So I'm going to do a little what? Douglas,
it's
your time to shine, Douglas.
There we go. We're going to do a little bit of rough justice.
There you go. I love the way he says that. And I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $100. That's my verdict.
Wow, rough justice was not good for the plaintiff. She's only going to get $100. She wanted $350. Let's see what she thinks about that. Ms. Coley, you're only getting $100. What's your reaction?
At the end of the day, at least I handled it the right way, and it didn't go further than what it was.
Well, Ms. Diamond, I know you wanted to do her hair because she is a kind of a star, but she's not happy, so she's not coming back. How about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. Honestly, I hope she doesn't come back.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for the case, and good enough for you. If you're happy and you're semi-happy, I guess that'll do it. Harvey, interesting case. What do you think?
You know, Doug, the judges talk from time to time about rough justice. I just want to spend a second talking about what that means. That when you go into a court, a bigger court, let's say you're suing for $1 million, you have to prove your damages to the penny. In small claims court, a lot of times in a lot of states, provisions are made knowing that these litigants are not lawyers and they can't necessarily come up with all the precise things that you would need in a different kind of court. And that's why the judge talks about rough justice. And it may involve actually eyeballing what a problem is and figuring out how much it would cost to fix. And it's rough, but it's fair.
Doctors and nurses are required to do ongoing, continuing education in their fields. Do judges have to do it as well?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, let's say, for the average person out there who has to subject themselves to the whims of a judge.
Yes.
Yes, they have to do continuing judicial education, CJE, we call it in Florida. And it means you have to go and keep up on changes in the law, exchange viewpoints with your colleagues at conferences and in discussions, and hopefully keep up with the constant changes that are taking place.
Right. So you end up traveling to a judicial conference somewhere, meeting judges from other parts of the state.
Yeah, they combine it with a little junket.
Combine a little golf, a little this, a little that. Yeah, and yeah, no, they actually really were educational. I used to always feel very energized when we came back.
Terrific.
They're very good. In fact, I taught it at them for a while.
You have taught
towards
them.
the end at New Judges College.
Right. I remember when I was going to go to my first one, you spoke to the godfather of one of our daughters, who's a judge also, about going there. What did he say?
He had, when he first became a judge, I had been a judge for a while. He became a judge. And then we went to a piano bar during one of these conferences, and everybody's singing at the piano bar, and I'm like,
wonderful time.
Bob, why won't you sing?
Right.
And he said, no. Why? Because if you sing, you get thirsty. If you get thirsty, you drink. If you drink, you're unfaithful, and I don't want to be unfaithful. I'm like, dude, you just went from 0 to 100 really fast. You'd have to find somebody willing to take you home, all right? So I don't know what you're talking about. You should be singing with us. It was this big running joke for years until you became a judge.
Yeah,
and you went on your first judicial conference.
I think it was in Orlando, right?
That's right. And then I called Bob, and I said, Bob, remember all that stuff I said a few years ago? Forget all of that. John doesn't get to sing. You know?
Don't let him go to the piano bar.
Don't let him go to the piano bar. Don't let him sing.
You have nothing to worry about, Marilyn.
This is the plaintiff, Kimberly Adams. She says she lived with the defendant after she was released from prison, but moved out because she couldn't take his oppressive rules. Now the guy's holding her furniture hostage. He can't be allowed to get away with stealing from her like this, so she's suing for the $4,941.72 she's owed. This is the defendant, Peter Filla. He says he felt bad for the plaintiff because she had a rough life. And when she moved back in with her husband, he told her she could leave her stuff at his place because it wouldn't fit in her husband's place. She agreed to pay him $175 a month. She still owes him for 2 months' storage. She never paid him. Now all this time has passed and the stuff is abandoned, so he threw it all out. He's accused of tossing it all away.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that she moved in with the defendant after being released from prison, but she had to move out because the guy had all sorts of oppressive rules. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff is trying to use his place as a storage unit. She hasn't paid him in over 2 months, and he threw all her junk in the garbage. It's the case of freedom's just another word.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Ms. Adams, you are suing Mr. Filla, your former friend, for $4,941.72 in items that you say he threw out without authority. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I've known Pete since 2012. We've been friends off and on.
How did you two meet?
He drove cab, and we met in the cab.
Okay, so go on.
Okay, so this year I was in... I had gone to jail for a drunk driving, and I was in a halfway house for 6 months, which was my choice. I did need a place to stay, and Pete offered me, you know, his home. He took me to buy my furniture and my TV and things that I needed.
Did you pay rent at his home?
I did.
All right.
January, February, March, I didn't pay rent. I did give him money for utilities. Things weren't that great living there.
How many months did you actually live there?
January, February, March, April. By the end of April, I was gone.
Okay. Where'd you go?
To my husband's house.
Okay. Did you leave stuff behind when you left?
I had taken just a couple of bags with me, and I thought my stuff was safe.
Did he give you permission to leave them there?
Yes. After I didn't live there, April and May and June, I still paid $450. I knew that he needed the help and needed a roommate, so I still paid the $450, even though I wasn't living there. I gave him $50 for utilities. In May, I wanted to sell my furniture, I couldn't get into the house. I did have a key, but he put a toggle lock on the door.
What, did you talk to him and say, I want to sell the furniture, I need to get in there?
Yes.
Did you mention it to him? And what did he say to you?
Yes. He would not answer his phone.
Okay, so wait a second. You guys were good friends and you trusted each other, and something went wrong if he's not answering his phone. So what happened between you guys?
Well, in July, I paid $170, and then August, I paid him $180. That was for storage. I agreed on $175.
Hold on. So then, all right, so you're paying storage now. You're not living there. Now we're in June and July. You're paying for storage. And when is it that you want access so you can sell your stuff?
September.
All right, so what happens in August and September? Do you pay the storage fee in August and September?
August I paid $180. September I did not pay him.
Okay, so now in September go ahead.
I had someone to buy my furniture
in September, but you owed storage from September because it's September, and and you hadn't paid September. So what happens when you communicate with him and tell him there's someone who wants to buy my furniture? What does he say?
He just ignored my text.
Oh, did you call him?
He doesn't answer his phone.
All right, so what was your plan? What happened in September? What contact did you have with him in September then?
Just through emails. Oh, no, text, not emails.
All right, so he sent you 2 texts saying you could come pick it up. When did he send those texts?
In September, he said, like, I don't know what day. I could come on a Monday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Obviously, I need someone to carry the furniture. I wanted to pack up the rest of my belongings, a lot of belongings left behind. You know, he kept my stuff. He kept all my stuff.
All right, but you're going to have to explain to me what went wrong between you guys, because you were good friends and now you're not. So what went wrong between you guys?
I don't know.
And then when he gave you 2 dates in September for you to come pick up your stuff, why didn't you pick up your stuff?
My son was working. His friend was in school. I was working. I couldn't be there when he said to be there. But instead of him being a real friend and communicating with me,
what did he do?
You know, he just said, you can come on this day at this time. And I couldn't do it.
Did you ever attempt to arrange with the police to get your stuff on a date where you had a truck available or help available?
Yes. Pete told me don't bring the police to his house, so I didn't. I called his landlord on November 1st. I called the landlord.
Well, what happened between September and October?
He blocked me on Messenger. He blocked me on Facebook, and he blocked me on my phone. He said, I'm blocking you. He said, don't contact me anymore and mail my key back.
All right. Mr. Fila, what's going on?
Well, to be honest with you, most of the stuff she's told you is true. You know what I mean? We were good friends and everything else like that. And what caused that problem with her was the fact that my ex-girlfriend was here. You know what I mean? She had come back, and everything like that. Kimberly didn't like it. But I messaged her, told her to come get her stuff, to just pay me the money she owed me and come get her stuff. She didn't answer me. And so I messaged again, you know what I mean? Did the same thing. She wouldn't answer me. The only reason, Your Honor, I don't have those text messages right now is because same thing. My brother bought me a phone, and the guy factory reset it because my plan was to send you both conversations.
All you got to do is save your phone, folks, before you get a new phone. Save the content of your phone on a cloud, which everyone has included in their program. Can I just ask you a question, Mr. Fila?
Sure.
She didn't pay September?
Yes.
And she didn't pay October?
Right.
Okay.
So then what happened is that after a while of staying home, telling her she's right, I gave her a certain amount of time to come. You know.
Wait, when you say a certain amount of time, did you give her specific times or a certain amount of time?
I told her to come by like 5 o'clock the next day.
1 o'clock.
Another time I gave her till noon, you know what I mean? Because
right, but what, okay, I understand, but you know she's got to get help truck. You know, it might be a little more complicated than that for her. What happened between you two?
She got upset, like I said. I've known Kimberly a good 20 years.
I've read the text that you do have, and in the text you say, you know what I found. What did you find?
What did he find? The testimony continues. Plaintiff says the defendant is a nasty person who threw all of her things out. He has no heart, and now it's Judgment Day. But the defendant says the woman abandoned her stuff in his place, and he had every right to do what he did. Let's listen.
I didn't want to say it because it's personal to her or whatever, but it was a Coke straw.
Your Honor, I have 3 years clean.
And what bothers me is she knows my kids and everything, and she knows my daughter comes here, you know?
How old's your daughter?
My daughter's 22.
Your Honor, the only one doing drugs in the house was him and his girl. And I had to leave because they hid in their room doing drugs. I had to leave. I couldn't live like that. There was beer in the refrigerator all the time.
When did you discover that he had gotten rid of your stuff?
The landlord told me that he said
When?
he got rid of November 1st.
Okay. So between September and October, you don't get your stuff. And
no, he blocked me.
Right. And I do see a
and
text
said no.
where you say to her October 13th that you're going to block her because of what you found. So how are you able, Mr. Fila, to prove that she abandoned it if she has no way to pick it up because you've blocked her and she can't get there? Did you videotape the stuff you threw out so that I could see what she had left there?
I didn't. But
did you take photographs of it?
I didn't. It was a bedroom set, like she said, and a bureau and like 2 bags of clothes.
Okay, and so, Ms. Adams, hold on. Ms. Adams,
Ms. Adams. Full of clothes.
Mr. Fila, can you explain to me why you threw out all her stuff instead of making sure she got it and we wouldn't be here today?
Well, because, like I said, I went to the police twice. And,
right, but when you went to the police the second time, you were complaining that she had abandoned it, but you had blocked her since October 13th, hadn't you?
I didn't block her, though.
But you said you were blocking her, and she says you did, or you weren't answering her.
I blocked her later on.
But you said on October 13th you were blocking her never to call you again. That's what you said on October 13th, right?
I'm not sure if that was the date, to be honest with you.
It's on the text.
But at one point, I did tell her that.
Right. So I have texts, but what I'm missing are the ones where you say, you know, you give her all these opportunities to pick up the items at mutually convenient times. How did you throw out her stuff? How did you throw it out?
We ended up having people come and take it.
Who? What kind of people? Who?
Gucci watch, $600 necklace.
Why are you leaving a Gucci watch and a $600 necklace behind? If you have a Gucci watch, why isn't it on your wrist? Why would you leave it there to be stored at his house when he and his girlfriend do nothing but drugs in their room? Why would I believe there was a Gucci watch? You think I was born yesterday?
Welcome back to the People's Court. So the question, did the defendant throw away nearly $5 grand of the plaintiff's valuables, or is she just making this up? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
How are you going to prove up your case? You are saying that it's $5,000 worth of goods that he threw out. How are you going to prove the value of $5,000 worth of goods?
The only proof I have is my receipt for my bedroom set.
Yeah. And so you paid $13,872.
Yes.
All right. Now, you say you had a 50-inch TV, and according to you, Mr. Fila, did she have a 50-inch TV there?
No.
55-inch.
Okay. Do you have any proof that you had a 55-inch TV there?
He took me to buy it. He took me to buy it at Walmart.
Does that ring a bell, Mr. Fila?
Yep, I did bring her, but she took stuff from here throughout.
I did not. You wouldn't let me in.
Husband. When she moved back,
Your Honor, I never took anything.
But I don't understand. When you say he wouldn't let you in, I don't know why you keep saying that, because at the beginning you didn't have a problem with him. You were still paying rent even though you weren't living there. You had access to the place. But
no,
wait,
I didn't have access.
Okay, then don't pay rent. If, March and April, you didn't have any access. April and May, I mean, you didn't have any access, but you paid rent.
I had no access.
But you're paying rent.
Yes.
And you had no access in April and May.
Exactly.
Why are you paying rent if you have no access? Why aren't you calling the cops?
I felt bad for him that he needed a roommate. He needed some help. And
did she pay rent April and May, Mr. Fila?
So she did give once. She gave some money to help out with the bills.
That's not my question. My question is, did she pay April and May rent?
No.
Yes.
Ms. Adams, I'm not asking you that question. Mr. Fila, I'm asking you that question. Did she pay April and May rent?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Ms. Adams, do you have any proof that you paid April and May rent?
I gave him cash.
Did you get a receipt?
No, he never gave me a receipt.
I don't care about he did. Then you don't release the cash. I mean, cash doesn't leave this hand till a receipt enters this hand. That's how you give cash. Otherwise, how are you ever going to prove that you gave cash? All right, so we've got the bedroom furniture. You say you have exactly $2,159 worth of clothing. How would you possibly know that?
Just guesstimations.
Okay, do you have any receipts for any of the clothing, anything?
I mean, I could go into my... No, I don't have receipts.
Did you, when you say that you had just gotten out of jail for a DUI, how long were you in jail for that DUI?
For 1 year.
Okay, so that's not your first DUI then. That had to be...
No, it wasn't.
Which number was that?
It was a fourth offense. Okay. I had my first offense when I was 18. And then in 1994, 2000, and then...
Okay. Did you throw out, according to you, 2 bags of clothes. Do you know whether there was any jewelry in the clothes, Mr. Fila?
No, it was clothes.
Well, you don't know. Did you go through all of her bags?
No, but I could tell it was
How could you tell from the outside of a trash bag what's inside? See, this is why you don't do this. You don't throw it out. You make an effort to just get this over with and get her to get her stuff out and then say good riddance. That's why this, because otherwise I'm sitting here trying to recreate a moment in time that you have not documented because you didn't bother to take video. You didn't bother to take pictures. You threw out all her stuff. You're looking at me in the eye saying she abandoned it, but you blocked her. Let me explain how these lawsuits work. The plaintiff has to prove that you had her items and you threw it out. She has proven that because you admit it. Your defense is something you're responsible for proving, Mr. Fila. Your defense is she legally abandoned it. You have no evidence of your defense because you would have to have those texts where you made yourself available to her. And, you know, I would have to see that she was being unreasonable. Offering her an opportunity to get her things once does not mean, and she doesn't make it, that doesn't mean she abandoned it. You have a very high burden as someone who has her belongings to be able to prove that you are allowed to throw out all of her belongings. You have to be able to show that it was repeated on her part, that she just didn't care and didn't show up. Not that there was a broken truck and there was a problem. When I see these texts where you're the one blocking her and she testifies in accordance exactly with what you say, which is I'm going to block you because of what I found, and then she can't reach you all of October, then you throw out her stuff in November, you know, it's like, how are you going to prove that she abandoned the stuff as opposed to you decided you didn't want anything else to do with her and threw out her stuff? Now I've got to sit here and try to recreate the value of her stuff when the one thing I know about is the furniture, which was purchased in January at the time of it being thrown out. There's a certain depreciation to the furniture, so I'm going to kind of do a little mojo, do that mojo that I do. Do that thing I do and kind of just come up with a figure that is rough justice in this case, because how do I know what your clothing's worth or whether you had a Gucci watch there? I don't think anybody leaves behind a Gucci watch. You know, but no, I don't want to hear any more flapping gums. Do you have any evidence you haven't shown me? Other than talk, because both of you talk. I want evidence. Does anybody have any evidence they want to show the judge before the judge rules?
I don't know how I can get you the value. My clothes were all brand new. I had things I didn't wear. Okay. That's more talk. That's more talk. I would need receipts. Ms. Adams, there's a way to prove these cases up in terms of value, and that's receipts. Okay? So I am ruling in favor of Ms. Adams because I do not find that Mr. Fila has proven that the items were abandoned, certainly not by the text I do have where he says, never call me again, back in October, early October.
and there's zero evidence of him making himself available and her being the one who's blowing it off. If anything, I see the opposite, her saying, please, please, I want to get my stuff. So I am finding in favor of Ms. Adams. The question is in what amount, and based on a little rough justice here, I am finding in her favor in the amount of $1,600. That is my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we're taking a break. When we come back, Doug is going to be in the hallway with the litigants, and Judge Millian will be ensconced in her chambers with none other than John.
Well, after using a little rough justice, the judge agrees that the plaintiff deserves $1,600 from the defendant. Let me ask you, Mr. Filler, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad she didn't get it all, and I guess it is what it is.
That's the way it is, all right? You've got to give her $1,600, and that's what the judge says, so you're going to have to do that. Ms. Adams, I know you're disappointed. You're not getting $5,000, but you had no evidence. You understand that? You had no proof of anything. The Gucci watch,
right, receipts,
you know, the necklace. Yeah, I feel sorry for you because,
I had
you know.
new clothes that I never wore. I had a closet full of clothes. My bureaus were full of clothes. It was not 2 bags. It was a lot of money worth. Brand new stuff, brand new.
All right. Well, listen, I know it's been a rough road for you, but good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Stay on the straight and narrow path if you can. Okay?
Thank you.
Doug, you know, this is a case really involving abandonment, whether the plaintiff abandoned the property. These laws not only vary from state to state, but even city to city. So this is something that comes up very often in just everyday life. So if you think something is being abandoned, if you worry you've abandoned something, go online and you can check out specifically, type in abandonment, type in your city or state, and you're going to find out the rules of the road.
A friend filled up at a gas station, and 10 minutes later, her car sputtered and died. It was towed to a garage and quickly determined that she got bad gas, maybe watered down. Can she sue the gas station for the $700 repair? And would the explanation from the repair garage be enough to carry the day?
I think so. Yeah, I kind of do, because...
Can't anybody say that? Because I don't think I would.
Well, say it, but you have an expert witness saying it. The mechanic is going to say... this is what happened. I mean, do you think it has to be tested to see if it's watered down?
Absolutely.
Who's going to do that over $700? It'll cost you thousands.
How do you nail causation on that? If I'm the judge and they come in and they go, well, my mechanic says it was watered down. Well, maybe you wanted to make a quick $700.
Right, but I'll ask the mechanic, you know, if I'm the judge, I say, how do you know? Right. And what's the mechanic's answer going to be?
I don't know. I've never done small claims the way you have.
Right.
So you're accustomed to the kind of proof that comes in the front door, and you have to make a judgment, boom, like that.
Right.
Based on the proof that comes in.
And people do the best they can without lawyers. And, you know, if I have a mechanic telling me, look, Judge, this thing was sputtering, I could tell, because I've been a mechanic for 20 years, what it was. If
she's persuasive, and he's persuasive.
Right. And so I changed this, I did that, and boom, her car was fixed. Right. Although 700 seems a little high, but, you know, if they say that to me, I'm going to find that pretty darn persuasive. Right. Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a mechanic and got away for less than 700? You know?
Well, that'll do it for this session of the People's Court. See you next time.